Hey, what's up? I'm Frostyfrog, and you are listening to VTuber Spotlight. More people than ever are watching or becoming VTubers, so on this show, I will be interviewing promising VTubers to get to know them a little better and to find out more about their story and what it's like to be a VTuber. I hope you enjoy the series enough to subscribe, and with all that being said, let's get on with the interview. Hey, welcome back to another episode of VTubers. Hey, welcome back to another episode of VTuber Spotlight. Yes, it is. It is. Messed up a few times. So today we have a guest, a good friend of mine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Pug. I am a VTuber, partnered Twitch streamer, talk show host, award show host, and absolute mess. Hi.
An absolute mess. There we go. But
it's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned talk show and awards show. Could you tell us a bit more about what you mean by that?
Okay, so talk show, funnily enough, this is the old world that we were using for the talk show. I hosted 2 seasons of a talk show called What the Puck. What year did we host that in? I think it was 2022, 2021 and 2022. Guys, going back a few years now. It was just a talk show for predominantly the VR chat community focused on small content creators. So we had, I think over the course of the 2 seasons, about 200 people sat on this couch in one way or another. And we got to know about their content, and we used to watch their videos, and it was just a platform for smaller creators to reach a wider audience, and for wider audiences to find new content to enjoy and new people to follow and become friends with, etc. And I personally had some new people I followed and became friends with from the show, which I would never have done without. And a lot of people who watched also made new connections. Some got into the dancing communities, some made friends with other content creators. It kind of bridged the gap for a lot of people. The show was, in that regard, very successful. And I'm happy with how it went. So we're bringing it back. We announced it a couple weeks ago now, I think. We're hopefully hoping to do it in the summer. But with my VR award show going on, it looks like, because that's the main focus this year, we're going to have to postpone the talk show for a little while, because we're focusing all resources, like world creation, and the trophy was finished today, for example. I've just been sent images of the finished trophy that we'll be giving out to people. So there's a lot going on in the background right now with the award show. We're currently redesigning the website and all that kind of cool jazz. So that's kind of my focus right now. And because there's so much focus on this, I've had to postpone the talk show for a bit. So we announced it a bit early, unfortunately. But people are interested, and I'm looking forward to hosting another season in a new world.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And so with that talk show, one of my favorite things about it that you've done it's just the title. It brands itself, basically.
Yeah, it was perfect. It sort of came along at the right time, because you knew me before I became Puck, when I was VRC Bunny originally, and I had the rebrand to Puck when I partnered, and my name changed on Twitch, and all my socials changed, and the only thing that didn't change was the avatar, which hopefully is changing very soon. It was. My brain has gone blank. What? I do that sometimes. I go off on a tangent and I forget what I was talking about. Go again. Ask the question again. But we can clip it in post. Well, okay. So what we'll do is we'll just clip everything in post, so it looks like I'm actually good at interviews. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So let's try that one again.
Well, there's also a difference between giving an interview and participating in the interview. So.
Yeah, I'm usually not this side of the couch, I'll be honest. This is definitely Not something I've done one or two interviews in the past, but not many. I'm definitely not very good at it. Mm-mm. I'll stick to being behind the couch. I think, like behind the desk. I think that's what people want.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna wind me up now because I was going somewhere with that and now I don't remember. You know, like when you walk into a room and then you're like, why did I walk into this room? And then you leave and then you come back and you're like, oh god damn it, now I remember. Yeah.
Yes, I think if we can all relate to that.
If we do that question again, I will go, eureka, and I'll do it properly.
So Mike, the thing that I'd asked there, if you really are interested in this, was,
I got this.
I was mentioning how your branding for What the Puck was, how it just brands itself.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. See, eureka. It all comes together now. Yeah, so it all fell in place because my name changed to Puck, and then when the show was originally announced, because it was just like, you know, we did a pilot episode just randomly to see if it would be successful, and people loved it. So we then, you know, we booked the show for a season, and we had this world made. With the What the Puck name, I can't remember who, and it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. But one of my viewers in chat came up with the name. And I was just like, oh my god, yes, I'm stealing that. Let's go, What the Puck. So then Manamaka, if you know Manamaka, lovely bean, they actually did the logo design for free. They were just like, hey, do you need a logo here? And I was just like, oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah, can we use that? And she was just like, yeah. So yeah, everything just kind of fell into place randomly. Like, people were happy to help with the world. So Sopra did this world back in the day, and they did an amazing job at it. And we had all the artists, so we had all the art put on the walls and things. And so it was there was a lot of people involved. We also had a backstage manager when we were hosting the show, so it was a big production, but it didn't look like it from the viewer's perspective. But there were, you know, sometimes my backstage manager Yogi, he'd be awake until like midnight when he had work in the morning, and he was just like, please, for the love of God, let me sleep. he used to absolutely do his nut like off a stream about it, but in a nice way. He wasn't mad or anything, because he knew what he signed up for. But yeah, there was some late nights and a lot of work went into it, and I'm just glad people appreciated it. Like, that was like, I just wanted to do something nice for the community, and people really enjoyed it, which was the whole point.
And I've been on one of your interviews before, and I really enjoyed it.
You
from
have?
that side. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I did not have a single bad interview. Like, no one who ever sat on this couch was not short of amazing to talk to. There were, you know, we have our scuff moments. Sometimes there was like a period of slight awkward silence here or there. You know, nerves did get to a lot of people. I used to get people DMing me before the show going, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm too scared. I'm just like, relax. I got you. I will come and sit with you and we'll just chill. Don't stress. And everyone pulled through. Everyone did really, really well. I was so proud of everyone for facing their fears and coming to sit on the couch with me. Because for me, it didn't seem like a big deal. It was just like, we'll just sit down and have a conversation. It's not like a big thing. But people looked at it like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like, you know, I'm just like, no, it's fine. You'll be fine. And everyone was. Yeah, everyone did super, super well.
And you mentioned it being a big production, or a lot bigger than what people would have seen from the viewer side of things. And I think the same goes for, even if you look at the Tonight Show or any sort of the late night shows, as soon as they take the camera, pan it out so you can see the audience or you can see the band off to the side, you start to get the feeling that there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than what you're watching on TV.
Yeah, there always is. You've got like the production manager, and then you've got like the stage managers, and you know, we didn't really have to worry about that because we didn't have like dynamically changing sets and things. We obviously had the den for performers to do like song and dance and things like that, but we just pan the camera over, so it's super simple for us. But Yogi was in charge of talking to the guests before they came on in the waiting room, making sure that they know how everything works, and just kind of welcoming them into the world instead of popping in and being like, oh God, where am I? What do I do? You know, and that worked really, really well. So from day one, we knew we had to have a backstage manager, and we will have one again for season 3. We may have a cameraman this time as well, so I won't be operating the cameras. Most people don't know that I control all of the cameras during the interviews. There's a bunch of buttons by my desk that you guys can't see on your camera. But if you pay attention and watch me, you'll sometimes see I kind of look down and my hand moves slightly. That's me changing the camera angle, but no one ever kind of clocked it. So yeah, it's kind of like a little surprise for people. But generally, I want to have more focus on my guests this time. So potentially we may have a cameraman. But this obviously complicates things because lag, and you know, we've got to be looking at the right person when they're talking and things like that. Whereas when I'm controlling it and it's my feed, I can do everything instantaneously, so it worked really well. So we're trying to work out those kinks at the moment, but it's like I've said, it's not the main focus right now. We're kind of doing the award show first and getting that stabilized and up and running, and then we'll come back to the talk show. So we're probably going to postpone it until I hope not too late in the year. So I want to be done with the show by like November, if possible, and then full focus for the VR Community Awards, which will happen in we think it's going to be February 16th. So we've mapped February 16th for the actual award show. But there's from November through to February, it's going to be full on. So it needs to be like my full dedication at that point. So we're trying to get the show out of the way. At the moment, we're focusing on the awards. So it's kind of, I'm juggling both right now. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the background.
And who knows if anyone watching or listening, you know, by the time you go ahead and see this, maybe some of that will already be out, and you can hop over to links in the description to check out what's going on in Puckland.
Well, we have the websites for both. So we had the website for What the Puck back in the day. Big shout out to Teto, who did like the web hosting and did the web design and did all of the like bios for all of my guests, and they made it look really slick and smooth, and I'm eternally grateful for them for all the time they put into this project as well. So we're bringing the website back, but I'm gonna have to learn how to kind of design it, so oh god. I'll figure it out, we'll get there. And we also have the website for the VR Community Awards as well, which is kind of what we're trying to revamp right now, because it's just a very basic thing. It's just basically a placeholder right now, but we want to make it look swishy and professional. So having the trophy just be finished today, which I really wish I had a picture to show you, because literally 10 minutes before we came on, my world maker and my trophy maker was like, here's the finished trophy, and I was just like, oh my god, Pog. So it looks great, and they did a great job on it. So they're currently doing some like additional rendering to it and finalizing some bits, but we're hoping to kind of reveal the trophy shortly as well, which is really cool.
That'll be exciting to see. So we've been talking about your talk show podcast, What the Puck, for a bit. What is your favorite moment of being a VTuber?
Oh, that's hard. No one's ever asked me that. God damn it. I don't know. I think it's the fact that I get to live the life I have. So when I first started streaming, I used to be an estate agent. I used to sell houses for a living. I don't know if anyone would trust me with the keys to their house who's watching, but yeah, I used to sell people's houses for a living. I was really good at it, actually. I was one of the best in my region for London home and counties is what it was called. I was like 7th out of 137 agents for our region, so I was a top performer. I really enjoyed my job because it was, you know, out and about and doing things, but I was working long days and I was working Saturdays as well, and I just didn't do anything except work, and I loved my job. And if things don't pan out, I will go back to being a state agent because I know I can do that long term. But it does become a bit draining after like 4 years of doing that. So What I used to do after work was, some people play games, some people read books. I started streaming. That was kind of my thing. I started just streaming, and I started in a shared house with 5 other housemates, and I used to own a tiny little box room in the loft, and it was super expensive and very small, but that's all I could afford at the time. And I used to sleep in a mattress on the floor in the corner. And as time went on and the stream just started to pick up momentum, it changed my life completely. So, fast forward to now, I'm coming to you live right now in a tiny 2-bedroom house on a farm in the Midlands in the UK. And it's calm and quiet and beautiful. And, I have a kitchen. I have a bed that's not a mattress on the floor in the corner. I have a full king size bed. I have a car, and I can afford to pay the bills, and that's something I never imagined ever having. I was content when I started streaming that I had a roof over my head, and that I wasn't destitute. I couldn't afford to go on holiday, but I could afford to survive, and that was kind of my focus at that time when I initially left home. And being a VTuber, the biggest thing for me is there's always the friends and the memories and the experiences and giving back to a community that gave you everything. But for me, it changed my life. Like, the most rewarding and valuable thing to me as a VTuber is the community that gave me the opportunity to do what I do, and that I will always be eternally grateful for. It's a bit of a long answer, but that's the honest truth. Like, there's so many parts of being a VTuber that I absolutely adore. There's obviously, it's not sunshine and rainbows all the time. I mean, all we have to do is look at Twitter. You always see something's going on. But
what's today's drama?
There is more. Exactly, but there is more good than there is bad in this community, and we shouldn't let the bad things obviously oversee the majority of the good things that are taking place all around us. Between your friends or other communities, and it is a nice community, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Like, it's nice to be a part of something much bigger. And we're all in the same boat. We're all creators. We all do something that we have a genuine passion and love for. It's not like working a normal 9 to 5 where you go there because you get paid. We do this because we love it, and that for me is something that I hope to do for as long as I can.
So I'm definitely in the boat of still working the 9 to 5, and VTubing isn't able to pay all my bills, but at the same time, like you mentioned, we do this for fun, and I think that's the important
it's
part.
Like when that's exactly it. If you it's so like, if you stream for the wrong intentions, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you stream for the right reasons, because you just want to make people smile and be entertaining, and the financial reward is like an offset for that you don't really focus on until it slaps you in the face and it changes your life. You don't really think about that side of it. It's not why most of us, or almost anyone I know at least, gets into streaming. It's because we have a passion and love for it. And that's what we do. Like I said, people play games or read books. We stream. That's what we enjoy doing. We make content because we love to entertain. That's who we are.
I've told people many times over the years, it's like, when I'm streaming, that is my game time. That is when I'm gaming. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
So if I'm streaming less, I have less time to game.
Yep, exactly. But you still got to make time for other things as well, like gaming or whatever. Recently I took up hiking, so I've been going hiking today, like just before the show, and I've just come back from a 3-mile hike, and everything hurts. But it's just balancing your lifestyle to do the things you enjoy, around everything else that you have to do.
And you've gone ahead and touched on this a few points in time where community is just a huge aspect of VTubing. It's who you're making, all these connections, all these, whether it's friends or fans that you're getting to know. What are some major accomplishments that you've been able to achieve with your community?
I don't know. We're usually just scuffed gremlins, I'll be real. We don't usually achieve much. We usually cause carnage and chaos. I would say, obviously, we've touched on these before, that this talk show only happened because I became a streamer and I was given a platform to make this happen. The award show is only happening because I'm currently having a donathon, shameless self-plug, to fund, all these things I'm doing this year. So, the VR Community Awards is not cheap. It is a very expensive project because we're doing it to a very high standard, and everyone is paid for their time. So, the web designers, the world makers, the trophy designer, the logo designers. We had to have a second logo design because we couldn't get IP rights to the original logo that we tried to get. So there's a mountain of things. The videographers, the graphic designers, there's so many people that are involved in the project that need to be paid. The programmers as well. So like the programmers for the cameras and the what's it called? The thing that. This is a terrible explanation. The thing. The teleprompter. Yeah, see, I'm smart. The teleprompter being coded. Writers to write all this. There's just so much to it. And it's not cheap. And I can't afford this myself. There's no way that I could afford this on what I make as a content creator. So we've run a donathon with the prime reason of funding the VR Community Awards and the talk show, as well as paying some money back to my parents who helped me move out. So, long and the short of it, 20% of everything from the donathon goes to my parents because they gave me money from their retirement fund to move out, because I couldn't afford to move out when I moved home last year because my mum got cancer and I went home to take care of her, and now she's in remission. Yay, so she's doing okay. But then to rent here in the UK, you need to prove your finances. And I was like, well, I haven't made any money for 8 months because I stopped streaming to look after my mum. And they were like, well, you can't rent then, so you have to pay the whole year up front. So I found somewhere to live, and they gave me a big wad of cash, 12 grand, to pay the year up front in my rent. And now I need to pay it back. And so that is also for the donathon as well. So it's funding a lot of things. Also a new PC, because mine's a potato and it doesn't work very well. So yeah, there's so many things that are only possible because of the community that support me. Like, without them, I am nothing. And I think that goes for all of us as creators. If we don't have the community and the viewers and the supporters behind us, we are nothing. We are everything because of them. And they are the most important people that are around us at any one time. Obviously, you've got your friends and your family and your other creators, but these people have given you, the opportunity to live the life you lead. So, you should use that for good.
Absolutely, that's awesome to hear about all of that. Not particularly the cancer part, but the remission is amazing.
Yeah. She was very lucky. It was stage 3 colon cancer. And they caught it just in time. And 8 months later, I gave up my apartment. I was living elsewhere in London at the time, and I had to give up my apartment, and I had to break my contract for leaving early, and it basically financially ruined me. But family is worth more than money to me, always. And I would do it. I'd do the same again in a heartbeat if I had to, because I love my mum, and she even watches my streams sometimes. Like, she's made an account, and her name is Mummy Puck, and she's a mod in my channel, and she wanted to randomly appear and say stuff, and then chat goes, "Oh my god, Mum's here!" It's so funny. So my mum fully knows who I am and how I present myself, and she's incredibly proud of me and loves me regardless of who I am or the content I make. Like, she She's the best mom I could ever ask for, and I would do anything for her.
That's awesome. Truly, that's awesome.
Mm.
I don't know. I've got all these other questions here, but you just kind of topped it all. Like nothing I can ask is like can top this discussion with your community and your mother. I guess
So professional as well. You arranged all these questions as well. I used to never like organize questions. Okay, so Velky interviewed me a couple days ago, and he had questions prepared, but it was still an absolute mess. We just talked about like, I don't know, boys the last 3 hours. It was ridiculous. You're more organized than I am, I would say.
Well, the way I've got these base questions, and then like obviously when I was asking about what the puck, that's actually not in my question list, but it was related to what you talked about.
Yeah, that's what I used to ask my guests, like, tell me something about you, and then I could bounce off that to be like, oh, okay, so what's that about, you know? So yeah, it works well, and it just helps the natural flow of a conversation. I feel like sometimes I see this sometimes on late night shows where they will ask like very, like, I don't know, aggressive questions or hard questions, and it's kind of like you're drilling them for answers to these really difficult questions and things. It's like chill out, just have fun, just have a conversation. You know, that is way better because you'll get to know people are more willing to share if you don't force them to share it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I actually did look at the next question that I had, which is with you talking about like all the stuff going on, like IRL and your mom, do you go ahead and put on any form of character, or is what everyone sees as Puck, is that basically you?
Yeah, what you see is what you get, and anyone who's met me in real life will be going, yep, he's an absolute mess in person, just as he is on stream. You know, there is no difference between the VR chat me, or the online me, or the stream me, or the real life me. I am me. I don't think I would be able to. I wouldn't do well trying to portray a character or be an actor, so to speak. And I have an immense amount of respect for the community, all the content creators who, you know, are able to just on the flick of a switch change into a character that they need to be for whatever purpose it may be, you know, streaming or for a collab with certain people or whatever. You know, I don't have that talent. I can't do that. I can't act to save my life. So I just vibe and do me, and it seems to have worked. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Although I have been slowly changing over the years. You know, I've been streaming for like 4.5 years now. God, I don't know where the time went. But I am going in sort of a new direction at the moment, but very slowly. So I'm moving away from like my current content, or how I've always been known in VR chat, is being hypersexualized in my content. You know, talking about explicit content. I have no shame, and I've had a very experienced lifestyle in lots of things, but I feel like I kind of want to pull that in and make that a bit more of my private life now, and not make that sort of the forefront and focus of my content, like for streaming, for example. So I know that a lot of my viewers will support me regardless, but obviously people watch you for the certain type of entertainment you make, and when you change that, old viewers may no longer be interested in watching you. But the same applies. New viewers will come back will come to watch you in the first place because you're doing something that they haven't seen previously. Like, they didn't know the old you, they just know the you now. And I feel like this is an industry where you have to adapt to survive, and if you continue to just do the same thing for years and years and years and years, you may never quote unquote fall off. I hate that term, but you won't grow or potentially reach the aspirations that you may have. But obviously sometimes, you know, if it works, don't fix it. And you know, sometimes you, for example, I don't know, some people play World of Warcraft for like 8 years and they still do really, really well and they're super successful at it. And if they went and did something else, it would be they would just fall off the planet, you know. But for me, I feel like, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm 37 this year, and it's not often that I get to kind of be a bit more serious. And I feel like the term like the more mature and grown up isn't really the right one to use, because I don't want to insult anyone by saying that. Like, that's just how I view myself. I feel like I need to kind of start to act my age a bit more. I can't be the cute young lewd femboy that I've been since 2008. So I've been doing it for 16 years, way before this became like a mainstream thing and femboy really hit the map. Actually, I should probably post a picture. There's a picture of me in 2008 wearing my first maid outfit, sitting on my friend's lap, and I'm all shy, just like, it was really, really cute. But, you know, after 16 years of that, I feel like as I approach my 40s, I need to kind of look at the bigger picture of me as I age and take my content in a, for me personally, a more appropriate direction. But I will always be friends with everyone in every community I've been a part of, like the NSFW communities. My friends there will never change. The femboy community, I will always be friends with them. I'm not turning my back on anyone. I just feel that I need to slowly take a new direction where people see a more mature side of me, especially if I'm going to represent the VR chat community with the VR awards. You know, we don't know how many people are going to watch this. It could be like 50 people, it could be 1,000, we don't know. But I feel like if I've been entrusted with the entire community and I'm going to be the forefront of this show, I should represent the community in a way that they would want to be represented. So, you know, I want to move away from the, whenever people meet me, they're like, oh my god, you're that lewd femboy. And it's just like, well, yes, I am. Yes, but, you know, I don't think I want to be lewd, and I don't think I want to be a femboy anymore. Those two terms don't go hand in hand. Like, you don't have to be lewd to be a femboy, and to be a femboy, you don't have to be lewd. They're not associated. But for me, they've always gone hand in hand. I've always been the lewd femboy. But I feel like, you know, I'm a bit too old now to really be going down the femboy road anymore. And I feel like I want to be more family friendly in my content. I'm still going to be a gremlin and swear and be an absolute mess. But I just want to draw in that hypersexualized content to be a bit more chilled. Like, we'll still have gremlin talk and we'll talk about adult things, but I won't be explicit like I always have. So, yeah, this change has already started to happen, but it's very slow, because I don't want it to come as like a huge shock factor to my community and, you know, the people around me. And so far it's gone really, really well. Everyone's been super, super supportive. And like I said, I'm not out to turn away from anyone. I just want to focus on my future right now. And I feel like now is a good time to start making that change.
Yeah, and
that was a very long answer.
That was a very long answer. Yeah, sure, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I can talk your face off, honestly. Yeah, this is it. You've got to do what's right for you. Ultimately, you have to make content or be the person that you want to be. No one can tell you who you are. It's up to you to define yourself. And that goes down to anything like giving yourself a label. Like, I've always been called a femboy since anyone in VR chat can remember. I've always been a femboy since day one. But, you know, it's because I gave myself that label. I was a femboy, or I still kind of am a femboy. You know, right now I'm wearing like effeminate clothing, for example, you know. So that will always kind of be a part of me. But I just don't want to express it as publicly in forefront as I always have, you know. So yeah, we're just making changes slowly.
And one of the things that you even mentioned or touched on is, like, you do have that core community that you mentioned. However, like, one of the things you'll see a lot in the VTubing space is you'll see, you know, people see views attached with more of the lewd style content, and then people go into that content, but once they go down that route, honestly, it puts them in a bit of a bind because now they've got all these people watching them for that content, but they don't have that core audience that will move with them to something else.
You can. It's just like, to be fair, this works with any form of content, but you know, that form is a good example. It's a very good example. If you do the exact same content consistently, you will back yourself into a corner where when you try and break out of it, apart from your core community and viewers, like, you know, your admins and your mods or your long-term viewers, people will stop watching and they will go and watch someone else who will do the content that they used to watch you for, you know, because people are spoiled for choice on every platform: Twitch, YouTube, Kick. Oh dear. People are spoiled for choice on who they can watch, and with content being so easily digestible, it takes a single click for someone to stop watching you and watch someone else. You know, Twitch is a good example of this. If I'm watching you on Twitch, I can look at my bar on the left, and I can just press one button, and you've lost that view. You know, it's easy for me to go elsewhere.
I think TikTok and YouTube Shorts are an even better example because you are literally a swipe away to the next person.
Yeah. I think the stats for like making shorts and being successful is you have like, I think it was 2 seconds to grab your viewers' attention before they swipe you or something.
And
it's
in
like
some
insane.
Cases, people have like narrowed it down to some form of science where they're even like, even the very first frame that is shown on the viewer's screen has to be specifically engineered.
Yeah, it has to be engaging. Yeah, absolutely. It's like putting a thumbnail on a YouTube video. It has to be something that catches your attention or appeals to the audience or whatever your aim is for that video. So yeah, it's the game is evolving. Definitely, it's becoming harder and harder. You know, even I do this on Twitter. So if I post a Twitter video, sometimes I will put the first 2 frames as an interesting image. And then when you press play, you don't even see them. You just see the normal video. But because Twitter shows you the first 1 or 2 frames of your video as like a still image before you click play, it engages more people to view if you've put something interesting there. Instead of like a black screen and then you fade in, no one's going to watch it because they're like, oh, that looks really boring. And they just keep scrolling. Whereas if you have like the meat of your content of that video on the first frame as an image, more people will view it. So it is very complicated, and this is just, you know, the tip of the iceberg of how deep these tiny little changes and interactions or additions to your content can make massive changes long term to like your success.
With all these tips and things changing in the industry, I know that there are a lot of aspiring VTubers. Like you mentioned Twitter. There's so many people on Twitter where it's like pre-debut, you know, VTuber and whatnot. But
hi, that's me right now. Mine says pre-debut May. Yeah.
But you know, I mean, like there are some people who haven't even like streamed or created content, and they still have like pre-debut, and they want to be a VTuber. So with so many people out there like that, do you have any tips or word of advice that you'd like to share with them?
It's difficult. I feel like, you know, there is a certain amount of luck in this game, so to speak. You know, everyone has different advice for you. Some people will say find your niche, find what works for you and what you enjoy, and then focus on that niche and lock it in and be successful of that. Other people will tell you the opposite and say, don't listen to any of that. Don't back yourself into one tiny part of the content creator sphere. Branch out and be as expansive as possible. You know, it's down to the individual kind of with the tips they give, but ultimately you've just got to try everything until something works. But I didn't really do that. I just streamed VR chat because I thought it would be fun. And it worked. That was it. Like there was no like, okay, so I'm gonna stream 4 times a day, 4 times a week on these specific times and days, and you know I'm gonna do this every Tuesday, and you know I'm gonna collab every Friday. I didn't do it. I just go live in VR chat and mess around, and it just kind of worked. So there was an element of luck involved in that, and I feel like a lot of my friends helped get me to where I was, because I was known in VR chat for like 2 or 3 years before I started streaming. So people would raid me, and that would give my platform kind of like a boost from someone starting out normally. So I quickly went from like 1 viewer to like 10 viewers, which is, in the grand scheme of things, that is a big leap. Like, going from 1 to 10 usually takes time, and you have to build a name for yourself, and then word has to spread, and it's like a snowball effect. It starts very slowly. But because I was very lucky to have lots of friends in the content creator sphere around me, they wanted to support me, and I never asked them like, hey, can you raid me or anything? They would just be, oh my god, you're streaming now? Here, have a raid. And I do this to my friends. Like, I'm like, oh, you're streaming? Let me just bang, send everyone over. I always pay it forward, and always will. And that's very important to me. I think only for like, I think 3 streams ever we haven't raided.
Oh wow!
And they were for very specific reasons. Yeah, we almost always raid, and it's just people support me, I support them. That it's a 2-way street. You can't take from everyone and then not give anything back, because everyone will just be like, well, you're kind of greedy, bro. Like, I don't want to support you if you're not gonna like help anyone else in the community. So yeah, it's kind of important to me that I pay it back as much as I can, which is why we did projects like the talk show and the VR Community Awards, because we want to have fun and just give something back. And yeah, I'm very community orientated. It's always been kind of like an important thing for me, and it always will be. But ultimately, I will always do what I want to do and what I enjoy. Because if you make content you don't enjoy, people will realize. So that's important as well.
And we've talked about multiple times the like VTuber awards, the What the Puck interviews, talk shows. And we've talked about the links for those, but where can people find you in general?
So most of the time I'm like in a corner rocking backwards and forwards talking to myself, but when I'm not, you can generally find me on my Discord, which is discord.gg/puck. Or like my stream is twitch.tv/puck. Like, I'm so lucky, I can't believe I got the name Puck. It's amazing. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you for the name. Yeah, they literally nuked someone's account to give me the name Puck.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would note the account was inactive for like 2 years. They hadn't logged in for like 2 years. So that because I put in the request, I was like, this account's been dead forever. Can I have this? And then they looked at it and went, yeah, literally within a day I had the account. And then they were like, no takey backsies. And I was like, don't worry, I won't. So I kind of committed at that point. There was no going back. So, yeah. Also, I have to be very careful with the wording of the award show, because I can't call it the VTuber Awards, because obviously Fillion runs the VTuber Awards, and that is a big, huge event. And I'm super amazed at what she achieved. It was an absolute spectacle, and it was so good to watch, and it was fun and engaging, and it was just perfect. It's anything that you could expect. And she had like a massive production team working with her when she did this, all the way down to like her dress. They put foam around her. She talks about this herself. They had to put like a foam dress on her, like, so she didn't put her arms down and clip through her dress. Because in rehearsal, she'd put her arms down, and like over the mic, they'd be like, "You're clipping through your dress." Because she had an earpiece in, like, "You're clipping through your dress." So they made her wear like a big foam thing, so she couldn't put her arms down, so she didn't clip her. So there was so much attention to detail in her production. It was incredible. So I wouldn't want to kind of take any spotlight or steam from the VTuber Awards, because that's something much bigger and much more grand, and it's focused on different audience as well. My award show is focused on the world makers and the avatar creators and the community groups and DJs and nightclubs, and it's
more
bringing
geared towards
every
VR
corner.
chat.
It's purposely made for VR chat. Like, we are hosting the awards in VR chat. All of the award categories will be VR chat based, and it's not focused really on the content creators like the streamers and stuff. I think we're currently organizing, the awards, because honestly, we could give out 100 awards and not cover the entire VR chat sphere. It's enormous. It's almost impossible. So we're trying to generalize as much as we can to sort of 25 awards. I think we only have one for streamers. We only have one streamer category at the moment, because that's not our focus. There were people who already do that, and they do it way better than I would. I feel like we should leave it to them. So the VR Community Awards is just focused on the creators of VR chat, and the idea with the awards is everyone from every corner just comes together for one night to celebrate who we are and what we've achieved as a community on a grand scale. I want communities to be able to meet and engage with other communities, and for everyone to, regardless of where your position is in anything, put our differences aside and all come together for one night to celebrate who we are. And I think that's something really special. If we manage that, no matter how scuffed the show may go or how many things may go wrong, if that happens, that was the whole purpose that we set out to achieve, and it would have been a success to me. So yeah. I also can't call it the VR Chat Awards because I don't have the licensing rights, so I have to be very careful that it's the VR Community Awards, but it's focused on the VR chat community. So, don't sue me. Basically.
It'll be interesting to see as time goes on, because that could expand, from VR chat to Resonite to whatever other VR platforms there are.
You never know. Yeah, the VR chat or the VR sphere is consistently evolving and growing, and it will continue to do so. And some people look at this as the future of technology. One day consoles may not be as interesting as they were, and people will just put on a pair of glasses and they'll be able to play any game like with a controller in their hands, or not even have a controller in their hands. So it's going to continue to evolve and grow, and I think the audience who are interested in VR will continue to expand as well, which it has done over consistent years. The sphere is always growing bigger. The Quest 3 was like a huge monumental success, and that kind of shows that that's one of the most recent headsets to be released, and it's done really, really well, and it has a huge amount of sales, and more people are getting into VR. So this space is growing, and I don't know what the future holds for me. I kind of take it as it goes, but I want to be involved in the future of VR in whatever capacity that may be.
Well, and speaking of things evolving and growing, and you even mentioned the Quest 3. So recently I went ahead and attended a convention in California for work, and I made friends with someone from Japan. And recently him and I were going ahead and talking with each other, and he brought up asking the question, hey, do you know of anything that I could look into, any sort of cheap AR glasses that I could use to develop against, or how I could get started in that? And I was looking around, and I was actually surprised to see that the AR glasses are about the same price as the Quest. But at the same time, you can buy a Quest and you can buy a Quest and do the AR stuff. And when I was sending him videos of these little demos that people have done, or even where a Japanese person was cooking in real life and live streaming it while being in VR chat as well, they were surprised by the fact that VR can do AR.
Oh yeah, it can. I feel like as the technology improves, the big screen, for example, is a great example of this. Everything will start to shrink down. It's not one of the big downsides of VR right now is having this big bulky thing on your face, and it sucks. And as technology improves, this will get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it is basically a pair of glasses.
It'll be like the Vision Pro from Apple.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. Yeah, it's just that's where the technology will go, and it will become more and more affordable. New technology is always expensive because it's groundbreaking and it's new and it's like innovative. It's just like phones, you know. As time goes on, the older phones become worth a lot less very quickly. Like technology depreciates in value very quickly, just like, you know, driving a brand new car loses value fast. Technology does the same thing, which is makes it accessible to us. You know, if you couldn't afford an index when it came out, you could wait a year and buy one secondhand, and it would be like, you know, 50% off. It was crazy.
So while I was at the conference that I mentioned, there was a computer system with a whopping, I think it was either 4 kilobytes or 4 megabytes of RAM. It was a 16-bit computer. You know, like the computer itself, no monitor. It was. You know, like yay tall or whatnot, right?
Jesus.
And you could get it for the low price of $28,500. The other computers at the time were way more, like $9,000 and things like that. So,
yeah, like, yeah, things are always well as well. You know, like, when I bought my PC and built it like 6 years ago, which is why I need a new one, it was pretty good, and it was okay. But now it's absolute dog. It sucks, and you know it can't keep up with, you know, busy lobbies in VR chat. Even when I sent it to like 10 people around me, like to show avatars in like the closest 10, and I'm still chunking frames. I'm just like just PowerPoint presentation everywhere. So. But you know, if I now bought my PC, which, you know, can run like Counter-Strike or whatever, and it can still run VR. If I were to buy it now, it would probably cost about 20% of what it did back when I bought it. You know, so everything loses value quickly, but that makes it accessible to us as an audience. You know, if you want the latest stuff, you're going to pay top dollar for it, but a year later, it's going to be worth a fraction of it. So, you know, everyone waits a year and then they have. So most people, the consumer market is generally like 1 or 2 years behind, like, you know, cutting edge new technology, but it quickly loses value and becomes affordable, and that will always be a trend. I don't see that ever changing. And, you know, as technology evolves in augmented and virtual reality, these will become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and they are becoming more affordable, and with that, more people are getting into the sphere. So it's just growing the consumer base, honestly.
What in the world? Getting a phone call, apparently, so...
Not now, Mom! I'm playing Minecraft!
Something like that, right?
If I get a call during stream, I usually answer it. I'm just like, yo, what up? Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Well, so as I'll probably need to go ahead and call him back. But as we sign up for the day, as we close up the interview here, a lot of stuff's been talked about. It's been great talking with you.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for wanting to talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you would like to say to our fans?
I think the only other major things I've got going on is, you know, it's taken me. I've been trying to debut for 2.5 years. My name changed to Puck, but the avatar didn't. My avatar, its prototype was ready yesterday, so I am due to debut. You know, any week now. So that's going to be huge for me, and it will have a lot of meaning. I lost my sister 2 years ago to liver failure, and white lilies were one of her favorite things. So my new avatar has a white lily in its hair, and I also have a tattoo on my back of a white lily, which is also on my new avatar. So it marks it symbolizes that she's watching over me and she's got my back, and this is something that I've been trying to do for a long time, and to see it finally come to fruition is huge for me. And I'm going to be an emotional wreck when I debut, I'll be honest, because there's been so many projects that didn't quite make it, and it didn't quite happen for one reason or another, and you know, that's going to make it all the more special for me. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. I also have something else I'm working on. I'm in discussions with some people, but I can't really share anything right now on that. So I guess watch this space. Maybe big announcements in the next couple of months. But we'll see how that goes, because that's kind of really in the air right now. So
and depending on when those announcements come out and when this all goes out to everyone, we'll go ahead and include the information or links towards that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would definitely have debuted by the time this comes out. If I don't, I quit. I'm quitting. I'll be in the stage.
You got until July.
Yeah, no, I'll be fine. I should be fine. I have so much respect and love for the person who's currently working on my avatar. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you who it is, so I'm just gonna say I love you. Thank you for everything. I love you, Bean. I hope you see this. I'm not sure they will see this, but I love you. Yeah, they've poured their heart and soul into it, and it's beautiful. It's not like a super 100% custom new avatar. It is, we've kit bashed a lot of stuff, but we've added some custom bits as well. And it's something that's got traits of very common avatars, but stuff that isn't on almost any avatar as well. So it's kind of, we'll see what people think, but I think they'll enjoy it, and I will too. And it's obviously, I'm gonna look older as well. So I'm not gonna look young anymore. Like, there's nothing wrong with looking young in VR chat. I should clarify. I've looked like this for years, but as I kind of take that change, I want my avatar to look older, and so that's kind of where we're going with that as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so big announcements probably in the future. Sign-ups for What the Puck will be opening later this year. We don't have a confirmed date right now. Voting for the VR Community Awards will open in December, so keep an eye out for that. And we're working with some major partners on the award, so VCAT are involved, so big shout out to VCAT. Thank you so much for accommodating us and working with us on the show. And I'm currently networking with other people as well. So if you want to be involved with the VR Community Awards, call me. Call me. Yeah, because, we're not doing monetary sponsorships. This isn't for profit. Like, I have no monetary, incentive for the show. It's costing me a fortune. But the community is helping fund it, so that's fine. But yeah, if people want to work with us to, cross-advertise and things like that, I'm super, super open for that, because it's about the community, and if you want to spread the word about the show, we want to spread the word about you too. We want to help me to help you. Is basically how it goes. So we're not offering hey, give me £100 and we'll talk about you on the show. That's not the point. We just want to keep it as inclusive as possible for everyone, and there shouldn't be a price tag on that.
What's that one song go? Girls just wanna have fun.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's the whole reason. The reason I'm here is to have fun. The reason I'm a content creator is to have fun. And people like you make it fun. This podcast has been really enjoyable. And it's not often I get to sit down and talk about me with people, because I feel it's very self-centered. I'll be honest. It's oh yes, let's talk about me. But I do appreciate the opportunity to talk about what's going on in my life and what's happening in the back end and things like that.
And thank you so much for joining me on the podcast on this for the VTuber Spotlight.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone who tuned in. Pachi, 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 pachi.
Thanks for watching. Hi, Mom. I love you. Hi, Mom. I'm going to give you kisses.
Thank you for tuning in. Today's episode of VTuber Spotlight was brought to you by our lovely Ko-fi supporters, and we hope that you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear about what your thoughts were in the comments section, and if you enjoyed today's Spotlight, don't forget to drop a like, and if you want to be here for the next one, don't forget to subscribe! Subscribe. I meant subscribe. Anyways, thank you, and have a good day.